Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So today's newspaper now. The first news that we have, let's move on to page number 5. So page number 5, where we have E0 FIR. So this news, which is a state police to introduce E0 FIRs to report cyber crimes. Now, in relation to this news, earlier we have talked about the zero FIR scenarios. So zero FIR, what is the meaning of zero FIR? Zero FIR means the FIR which can be lodged anywhere, irrespective of the jurisdiction. That was zero FIR. Now, in relation to that itself, E0 FIR concept has been introduced now. E0 FIR is related majorly to cyber crimes. And the idea with respect to cyber crime is when a cyber crime is reported, what is the first thing that is required is to get the money. So any cyber fraud when happens, okay, for the case scenario is freezing the account from which the fraud has been undertaken, so that you can recover the money. So that is always the priority in case of cyber crimes. Now, what used to happen earlier there were certain platforms which were there where you can. So till now, what we are used to do is when a cyber crime happens, we have a helpline number, we call over there, and based on that, the freezing of the account takes place and the money can be recovered. But the problem or the challenge which was there is for a lot of banks, they required a proper FIR for doing that. And secondly, what was happening is there was the freezing of the accounts when was happening. There were a lot of cases of the freezing of the accounts of the companies who may not be involved also. So it was causing a lot of hardship to the companies as well. So to come up with a solution, this E0 FIR has been introduced. So now under this, it goes similar to the concept of zero FIR. Now you can log in onto the portal and you can lodge a FIR. But that would be restricted to cyber crimes only, not the general crimes. So that's one difference that you see. Zero FIR is related to any general crime. E0 FIR is related to cyber crimes. Secondly, going beyond that is where the condition has been put, where if you have filed as E0 FIR, 3 days are provided to the complainant, where the complainant has to be present in physical in the concerned respective police station to formalize the FIR. If it does not happen, if you are not able to present yourself, then the FIR, E0 FIR, stands automatically cancelled or closed, what we call as. Okay, this is whole of the idea. And the rest of the idea is how it works basically. So it works pretty much like how zero FIR worked. Okay, over here within the state, when you will file it, then it would be now forwarded to the respective police station or the jurisdiction. Okay, and the freezing of the account can take place instantaneously. But if it pertains to any other state as such, so in those cases also what used to happen, say for example in Karnataka, it has been reported. So the Karnataka cell will end up freezing anyone's account in any other state as well. That used to happen earlier. Now it cannot be the case. Okay, if Karnataka receives anything related to Andhra, so Karnataka will have to forward it to Andhra, and then there itself the process is going to happen. So this tries to strike a balance between what is required in terms of zero FIR, as well as avoiding the harassment, I would say, okay, that may occur to the companies, okay, where the fraudulent cases have been registered and ends up in freezing their account. So they also have a hardship. So that is where these concepts have been introduced, including the physical appearance condition. So that is what this article read. So in this case, you can see over here, Karnataka State Police will soon introduce a feature where you can file E0 FIR in case of cyber crimes. That's first thing. Second, apart from that, next paragraph you can see, however, a complainant will have to present themselves before the jurisdictional police within 3 days to register an FIR. ठीक है? Okay. Next paragraph में what is given is Bangalore City Police introduced the what? Cyber Crime Incident Report, CIR. Okay, which was till now operational through the helplines. So 1930 helpline, which was there. Okay, with this, the Cyber Crime Incident Report, CIC, was in place, and this was used to freeze the accounts. However, freezing accounts based on these reports have been a problem at both ends of the spectrum. What is written? While many banks demand FIRs, which a CTR is not, the cyber crime police across the country have been getting accounts held beyond their jurisdictions frozen as well, leading to many genuine business accounts also being frozen. And that ultimately leads to increased number of litigations. So this is the problem from both the ends. That's it. Nothing more than that is required. Okay, basically the idea over here again would be what would be needed in all of this scenario is quick action on what happens. Because at the end, we are talking about freezing the accounts, establishing the money trail before it is transferred somewhere else from where it cannot be recovered. And generally it happens very fast. So that is where the quick action is something what would be required. Then you read about the jurisdiction. Yahan pe, now we'll see how it works. As per this scheme, when a victim calls 1930 cybercrime tipline, the person attending the call enters the data in Karnataka Police IT portal and the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. The entry in Karnataka Police IT portal will generate an E0 FIR. So for you, you don't have to do anything. What we have been doing earlier, 1930 helpline. Okay, the FIR would be generated by itself from the complaint. This is important. If the amount lost is below a threshold, which is yet to be decided, it will lead to a report on the e-lost platform and not a FIR. So this is yet we will see when it becomes functional, what is that threshold that is decided. So let's say it says that 30,000 rupees. So if the loss has been 10,000 rupees, okay, that would be rather where? On the e-lost platform. Only any loss above 30,000, which is a hypothetical number right now, will generate a FIR. Then jurisdiction part. Again, if the jurisdiction of the crime is outside the state, so if the jurisdiction of the crime is outside the state, the case will be referred to the respective state. This will prevent police from freezing accounts held beyond their jurisdiction. Then if the crime is within the state's jurisdiction, it would be referred to the respective police station where victim will have to present themselves within 3 days to register a regular FIR. Correct? So now when you talk about the questions, what are the different dimensions of the statements which can come? Okay, tell me. First thing can be simple meaning of E0 FIR. Okay, what is it? Second statement I can read is E0 FIR, okay, can be used to register complaint against theft, murder, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is a wrong statement. What should be right? Correct statement? Only related to cyber crime. That's the second point. Third point, okay, I'll create a statement in such a manner that it conveys the idea of 0 FIR. While saying that E0 FIR filed in any state empowers the state police to freeze the account anywhere in the country. Is it correct statement? No, false statement again. That is what this jurisdiction is all about. Okay, so these are the type of statements that can be created from this particular news item. Understood? So read quickly through the news and note down the important pointers. In which case means this cybercrime incident reports. Yeah, yeah, you are talking. See, earlier there are two scenarios. One which was crime incidents report, in which there is no need of any physical attendance or so. You can report a cyber crime online, but that does not amount to FIR. And if you have to get FIR done, you will have to go to the police station to file the FIR. So these are two different things. It was CIR, it was not FIR. Okay, if you have to get FIR, it was the conventional way of getting FIRs lodged. That was the way how it was done. But in that particular time, you are going to lose the precious time in which the money trail can be lost altogether. So now still you have to be present over there to get the FIR filed. But prior to that itself, you can report it so that police can take already swift action. So that's the difference. And now just by reporting, it will generate a FIR so that banks can act on it promptly. Completed, done. Chaliye, now for the next news, let's move on to page number 8, the editorial piece, which is India-Canada defense cooperation. So in this editorial, there is not much to read into, but there are few informations, few facts that we would like to take from this particular article. So over here in this, basically what has been argued is how India and Canada can cooperate in the defense. But the important pointers over here is first this exercise that it talks about, okay, which is talisman saber exercises. Ab yahan there are two exercises which are there. Okay, one which is given as the Rim of the Pacific exercise and talisman saber exercise. So first, that is the Rim of the Pacific exercise, Rim of the Pacific, in which the Pacific countries participate in this military exercise. So this is maritime warfare exercise and is a biennial exercise. Second, which is talisman saber exercise, we'll read about both of them. Okay, talisman saber exercise. This is an exercise primarily between USA and Australia, and the other countries do participate in that. So over here you can see Canadian and Indian navies participated in both the exercises. That's the first part that we have. Secondly, going beyond that, the other aspects related to that can be over here Canada's radar set constellation system. So radar set has been the satellite system owned and operated by the Canadian Space Agency. So earlier it was the radar set 1, okay, which was launched by USA in fact, but definitely owned and operated by Canadian Space Agency. Then radar set 2 came. And later in the present time, what we have is radar set constellation. So radar set constellation is a set of or group of 3 spacecrafts which are basically Earth observation system. That's a direct question for your prelims. So what radar set constellation system basically do is it keeps observing the land surface of Canada, but along with that, the ocean surfaces. And that is where India finds the application. So when you talk about the naval technology, okay, information about the ocean, from their radar set constellation becomes very useful. And that is what you can read over here is radar set constellation system can have application in meeting India's aim of advancing its naval capacity in the region. And then most importantly, this paragraph is important for us. Now, this paragraph is where it talks about the most important partnership that can take place and which is there between India and Canada, okay, which is the resource-based partnership. Because apart from that, we are so far apart that any other type of collaboration can only be indirect. Like we are talking about radar set constellation, say, for example, or participating in naval exercises. This is where a direct collaboration can be there. Now, Canada, resource-rich region. Resource-rich region, first we are talking about the critical minerals. So there is this critical mineral partnership also. So we have critical minerals. Apart from that, another very, very important mineral is uranium. Correct? Canada is a major producer and exporter of uranium. So over here, we see that Canada has vast geological reserves of 31 critical minerals from cobalt to helium. Canada holds 10th largest reserves of rare earth elements, third largest recoverable resource of uranium, and 5% of world's tungsten. Canada is second largest producer and exporter of uranium. Which would be the largest one? Producer, Australia. Australia. Reserves, largest reserves is Kazakhstan. Okay, correct. So these are the things that we can find out from this article, which is primarily for prelims examination. There is nothing specific in this for the mains examination. So what we are going to do is take out your mobile phones quickly. And first, we'll search Rim of Pacific exercise. Rim of Pacific exercise. Again, the same Wikipedia page. And we'll read the introduction about, just the introduction part. Read it, the RIMPAC. So what are the important pointers?
Largest
biennially. Biennially would mean?
Once
every 2 years. So conducted biennially. And on the sides, you can see RIMPAC 2026. Just click that, RIMPAC 2026. And RIMPAC 2026, what has been written? India, about India. The Indian Navy is participating in the exercise. That's it, you have to know. Now, the similar one we are going to do with the talisman saber exercise. Now moving on to this exercise talisman saber, everyone found it? Now, what does it read in this is again, what is it? It is a biennial multinational military exercise led by Australia and United States. Then after that is reading the exercises across 6 locations in northern and central Australia. And then after that, we are going to deal with this particular paragraph, which you will note down as pointers. Okay, like Canada holds 10th largest reserves of rare earth element, 1 point. Okay, uranium ka you can directly write Canada is second largest producer and exporter of uranium, or it has 5% of world's tungsten reserves. These 3 points note down. Critical is based on the application. Okay, critical minerals are the minerals which are required in critical sectors. Okay, where we have talked about, let's say, renewables, solar panels, magnets for the winds. Okay, rare earth is defined based on the occurrence, which is rare to obtain. So the basis of defining them differ. Yes, absolutely. Almost majority of the rare earth minerals are critical minerals. ऐसे ही strategic होता है, strategic minerals. That is again utility. Strategic areas, defense, say, for example. That's a strategic area. So a critical mineral can be strategic as well. So basis of classification are different. That's it. Then along with that, one add-on for this particular article can be the mineral security partnership. Mineral security partnership. Mineral security partnership, what about it? It is an initiative led by? Yes, we have done these things in the class. Mineral security partnership. Initiative led by USA. Okay, to ensure the or to strengthen the supply chain of critical minerals. Okay, and in that mineral security partnership, it is basically to counter the China's dominance, okay, in the critical mineral market. And India as well as Canada are members of mineral security partnership. That is where further we cooperate in a multilateral forum. Okay, the mineral security partnership, MSP. Mineral security partnership. We study it in geography also when we talk about the minerals and all critical minerals, and IR as well. Critical mineral, again, both I am saying. Okay, critical minerals we study in geography also. Okay, Indian geography minerals. Okay, and then IR में तो definitely, because it is in the present time forming the basis of the collaborations and coalitions. Like critical minerals, say for example, critical minerals के लिए we have bilateral mechanisms also. ये तो multilateral mechanism है mineral security partnership. So this is to secure the supply chain, to diversify the availability. So these countries came up together to counter the hegemony of China or over dependence on China. Okay, but along with that, we India have bilateral mechanism also. Critical mineral partnership we have with which countries? With USA, we have India-USA critical mineral partnership or critical mineral agreement. And with recent one we have studied also is Australia. With Australia, India has signed it. So those are bilateral mechanisms then. This is a multilateral mechanism. Almost 13 to 14 members are there, including India and Canada in it. ठीक है, done. After that, the next news we move on to is on page number 11. So page number 11, the news that is government introduces bill in Lok Sabha to raise strength of judges in Supreme Court to 38. Okay, that is the news. So the bill has been introduced in Parliament to increase the number of judges in the Supreme Court. Now, originally, if we see the Constitution of India, Article 124 of the Constitution provides for the judges in the Supreme Court, which states that there shall be a Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of India. Along with that, initially, Constitution provided for how many judges in the court? 7 judges plus CJI, which means total 8 judges of the Supreme Court. But along with that, Constitution provided that this number may be changed by the Act of Parliament. And now we will have to recall that this change in the number of judges in the Supreme Court can be done by ordinary law itself, and it does not require a constitutional amendment act. Okay? This is the basis. So let's try to understand it first, everyone. Okay, check here. So this one thing that I have told you, Article 124, Article 124 of the Constitution deals with it. So everyone Google Article 124 quickly. Okay, I need the article only. I don't need interpretation or anything. So don't open anything of interpretation. Article is given 124.1, 124.2, 124.3. I want the text of the article primarily. Found all the subparts, subclauses? Once I want you to just read through it first. Okay, then I'll discuss the part. Okay, all the clauses. Clause 1, clause 2, through it. Chali, ho gaya. Read it. So Article 124 of the Constitution. Now, what are the things we need as a revision? You have read it once. Okay, now with this, what we find is the first thing which can be a statement in your question, that is constitutional originally provides for the strength of Supreme Court. Correct or incorrect statement? Correct statement. Originally it provides for how much strength? 8 CJI plus 7. Okay, that is originally it provides for it. Secondly, apart from that, the strength of Supreme Court, if we see the different judgments related to that, what came up are known as first judge's case, second judge's case, third judge's case, and in fact, fourth judge's case. Four of these cases you have to know about. The first judge's case which was there, now what it pronounced was first judge's case. The word consultation cannot be equated with concurrence. That's the most important point. Consultation is not same as concurrence. That's where the power majorly lies with whom of appointments? Lies with Parliament. So Parliament has the powers. This is where parliamentary supremacy was established over judicial supremacy in terms of appointments. That was first judge's case. From first judge's case comes second judge's case. What second judge's case say is कि CJI, the role of CJI, the consultation is in fact concurrence. Okay, and the appointments to Supreme Court has to be made by CJI in consultation with 2 senior most judges. So a group of 3, which is CJI plus 2. This laid the foundation of collegium system. Laid the foundation, I am saying. But finally, we attribute the collegium system to the third judge's case. Third judge's case very specifically pointed out the collegium system and established the collegium as CJI plus 4 senior most judges. So second judge's case, CJI plus 2 senior most judges. Third judge's case is CJI plus 4 senior most judges. This would be called as collegium, and this is going to determine the appointments. In this, 2 or more non-concurrence, okay, would lead to the name not recommended. All should agree. So that is third judge's case. After that comes fourth judge's case. Prior to fourth judge's case comes up the important concept of NJAC. NJAC, which is National Judicial Appointment Commission, NJAC. Now, NJAC was where again the role of parliament came into picture. So I think 2014 or somewhere around that, NJAC came up, and NJAC talked about how many members which would form this commission. You have to know the numbers, na? 6 member commission, which is very simple. Okay, just think of it as second judge's case. Okay, plus the extra appointments. So second judge's case talked about CJI, 2 senior most judges. Ye 3 ho gaye. Then the parliament comes into picture. So law minister, union law minister, 4. And then it provided for 2 eminent personalities, making it 6. For this 2 eminent personalities who would be there, for their selection, there was a select committee. And that select committee who would nominate them comprised of PM, CJI, and leader of opposition. These 3 are going to take care of these 2 eminent persons nominated. So this was NJAC, National Judicial Appointment Commission. ठीक है, done? This is 2014. But in 2015, it was challenged in Supreme Court, what came to be known as fourth judge's case. And in fourth judge's case, Supreme Court strike down NJAC. Okay, declaring it null and void. Okay, why? On the premise of, yes, definitely compromising on the basic structure doctrine. Okay, in which element was used? Separation of powers and judicial independence. So it said that it was compromised and therefore NJC was struck down. And the system came back to collegium system. Okay, understood? So I'll reiterate through first judge's case is parliament has the power. Second judge's case is where CJI has the power, and CJI in consultation with 2 senior most Supreme Court judges. Okay, 3 member group. Then third judge's case, which is mainly about the collegium system, which is CJI plus 4 senior most judges. And then NJAC came, okay, which is 6 member commission, in which 1 select committee is also there. Okay, and 2015, it was struck down by fourth judge's case, 2015. Okay, got it? This is first aspect of it. Now, after that, the second one, if you see over here, the news has been written as it seeks to replace the Supreme Court number of judges amendment ordinance 2026 promulgated in May to increase the sanctioned strength of court from 33 to 37. excluding CGI, which means it remains same abhi ke liye bhi. When they are saying 38 increase karna hai, it is including CGI. So it's the same as ordinance. So now we will move on to second revision part, which is ordinance making. Correct? See, this is how we are going to utilize the newspaper. Okay, revising a lot of things. So ordinance making power, which article of the Constitution? 123 itself. 124 is this, 123 is ordinance making power. Ab ordinance making power, what do we mean by this ordinance? Yes? Definitely. Okay, ordinance is an executive order, and under what conditions ordinance can be issued? When both the houses are not in session and there is a need for immediate attention or immediate action. Under those conditions, ordinance can be promulgated by whom? By President of India. Abhi we will read the article also again for a quick revision, but just what you have to know here. Ab ordinance once have been promulgated. Say, for example, they promulgated this ordinance in May. May was when both the houses were not in session. So President promulgated this ordinance कि we are increasing the numbers of judges from this to this. What is the condition? When the parliament reassembles. So what is required? Within 6 weeks, when the parliament resets, okay, within 6 weeks, you have to get the ordinance passed, which means you'll have to present a bill, which is what government has done now. They promulgated an ordinance, and now as the session is there, reassembles, they have presented it as a bill. And within 6 weeks, you will have to get it passed. Otherwise, the ordinance automatically lapse. Correct? Now, the technical aspect is in this is when you say parliament is in session or when the parliament reassembles. And you count 6 weeks from that date. Correct? Now, one technicality is, let's say, for example, I'm taking a hypothetical dates. Keep abhi kya July hai na? So let's say Lok Sabha reassembles on 1st of July and Rajya Sabha assembles on 10th of July. From which date you will calculate 6 weeks? Lok Sabha. This is where UPSC traps us. Knowing everything, these are the kind of details. Okay, it says simply that when the houses reassemble. Okay, that is one condition. One condition is both the house reassemble on the same date. Tab to there is no problem at all. What when both the houses reassemble on different dates?
Condition for having an ordinance itself says it's when both the houses are there, it cannot be an ordinance. Basically, it's like either of the house or both of the scheduled to be set for an ordinance. So when Lok Sabha is there in session, the Rajya Sabha is not in session. So it's still an ordinance.
But that is the condition for promulgation. For reintroduction, that's what I am saying. So which date should be taken? Absolutely. Later date. Later date. Because how it has been read is both the houses reassemble. 1st July is Lok Sabha reassembled, but Rajya Sabha has not. So it does not fall into that condition of both the houses reassembled. Rajya Sabha later reassemble on 10th of July, which means 10th of July is actually when both the houses reassembled. And so the 6 weeks should be counted from the later date of assembly, not the earlier date. This is one technicality we have to remember. Okay. So Article 123 of the Constitution. So again, Article 123 of the Constitution, give it a read quickly. Done. Note it down, everyone. So we'll have a quick recap what is required. First, from this news, we'll talk about the current sitting capacity of Supreme Court is how much? Current is 34. CJI plus 33, including CJI, 34 is the current capacity. Okay, then we dealt with Article 124. Okay, quick recap is where first thing, constitutional originally provides for the numbers, which is 8, 7 plus CJI, 8 judges in the Supreme Court. Okay, then first, second, third, and fourth judges. So these judges' case, may we have said already what is there. NJAC, okay, NJAC is 99th Constitutional Amendment Act. 99th Constitutional Amendment Act, NJAC. 2014 provides for 6 members. Okay, composition is this. And then 2 eminent persons. These would be nominated by the or selected by a select committee comprising of PM, CJI, and leader of opposition. Then this was struck down in 2015 by 4th judge's case. That is Article 124. Apart from that, now, of course, what you will revise after the class, okay, just use it for revisions, is Article 124 other provisions as well, okay, which should be there in your notes also. Okay, on what grounds the CJI can be removed, or why CJI, any judge of the Supreme Court can be removed. Okay, which is through the impeachment process. What is the detailed impeachment process? How does it happen? Okay, then Article 123 we have said. Article 123, ordinance can be promulgated under what conditions? When both the houses are not in session and any matter of urgency comes up. Okay, again promulgation ke liye bhi same condition is there. Okay, what if Lok Sabha is in session but Raj Sabha is not? Can ordinance be passed? What if Lok Sabha is in session but Raj Sabha is not? Can ordinance be passed? Yes. Okay, because again using the same term, both the houses. So if not even any of them is not in session, ordinance can be passed. Pretty much like how you count the date. So similarly, if Raj Sabha only is in session, Lok Sabha is not, again ordinance can be passed. But if both the houses are in session, ordinance cannot be passed. Then 6 weeks from the reassembly, which one? Former or later date? Later date. If there are 2 different dates, 6 weeks counted from there, it has to be passed through from the parliament. So this is ordinance. Chaliye. So after this news, we move on to the next news. Again, just note down few facts which are there on page number 12. Next page itself. Which is India approves first dengue vaccine for persons aged 4 to 60. Science detailing, we are not going into that. Just the facts that I have to note down as of now from this is the name of this vaccine, which would be QDENGA, which is the first dengue vaccine to be approved in the country. This is the first fact. Noted down. Second fact, approved for the age group of 4 to 60. Age group 4 to 60. Third fact is given just after that. What is that? QDENGA is a live attenuated tetravalent vaccine designed to provide protection against all 4 dengue virus serotypes. That's the third point. Note down as it is. Live attenuated tetravalent vaccine designed to provide protection against all 4 dengue serotypes. Note it down. Then next point is just after that, administered as 2-dose regimen with doses given 3 months apart. Note it down. Then in the next paragraph itself, next point can be found. What is that? The vaccine can be administered irrespective of whether an individual has had a previous dengue infection and does not require pre-vaccination screening. So whether a person had the history of dengue, vaccine can be administered. Noted. Then next point to note is over here. India accounts for nearly 1/3 of the global dengue burden. And then we have last paragraph, may again for prelims statement based, that QDENGA is not just India. Okay, what's written is QDENGA has been approved in so many countries across Asia, Latin America, and Europe. So I'll just mention this statement, remove that number part, that it has been approved in other countries as well. That's the main statement. Note it down, everyone. So these all have been the most important news that came up in today's newspaper.